kind of study in the. So here is a little bit more about the campus locations that we offer. We do have a couple of locations in California, which include our Los Angeles location, Anaheim, and San Diego. These locations are about, I'd say, 20 or 30 minutes away from Los Angeles, which is, the largest metropolitan city in California. So, you're kind of tucked away a little bit if you want to attend Anaheim and San Diego, or you can, attend the campus right in the heart of the city as well. We also have a location in Texas, which is in Dallas, as well as our flagship location in Chicago, Illinois, and also in Washington, D.C. So programs will vary depending on where they're offered at the location, but you've got a wide range of options, not only to suit what program that you're looking for, but what kind of environment that you're looking for, and how that might suit your career goals after graduation. So like I mentioned before, we do have all levels, and now I'd like to get into a little bit more about the programs that we do offer. So here's kind of a snapshot of the programs that we offer here at the Chicago School, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into a couple of them, not all of them, because we do offer over 30. But some highlights I would say is if you're a student who wants to pursue psychology at the bachelor's level, we do offer a BA psychology degree. And what makes this degree quite unique is that we actually offer the first 2 years online, and the last 2 years you would come to the US and study in person. And what's really great about this is that in the US as a whole, when you're pursuing a bachelor's degree, the first 2 years of your education is going to consist of general education classes. This is going to be courses like history, some government classes, some basic math classes. And these are courses you're going to have to take no matter what field you choose. And so in order, having the opportunity to do that online allows you to, cut the costs down. So you won't need to, use that funding for housing because you would be studying from Pakistan. And then you would come and do all of your major psychology courses in the US, getting the most out of that degree program. So that's a really great benefit of the BA psychology program. And then if you're a student who's interested in master or doctoral level programs, we do have a lot of options there. Our flagship program at our Chicago campus is our PsyD clinical psychology program. Students love to pursue this program if they're wanting to open up their own practice, and if they're wanting to, pursue career goals like becoming a therapist. And there's quite a lot of flexibility in that as well, but a lot of our students end up going through those career paths. Additionally, we do have clinical mental health counseling psychology programs, which are very similar at the master's level. And then also, we do have our forensic psychology program and our international psychology program too. What's really unique about these programs is they do offer a study abroad experience or a field work experience integrated into these programs, which is pretty unique. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more later into the session. But I'd first like to focus on our business psychology and Masters of Industrial and Organizational Psychology programs. So what's great about these programs is if you're a student who's been considering maybe that they want to pursue an MBA, I'll give you a statistic. About 200,000 students have pursued a MBA in the past 2 years in the United States. So that's quite a lot of students who are pursuing this program. And we have seen a lot of students who've graduated who, when we're reviewing applications, when they're applying for jobs, a lot of students have an MBA. So a great way, a new way that students can stand out if they're interested in business, but they kind of want to be a little bit more unique among the crowd, is pursuing a program like this. This is the MA Industrial and Organizational Psychology, or a business psychology degree. It integrates the business aspect of what an MBA can offer you, as well as the psychology component, which is working and being able to understand humans. A lot of students who pursue these degrees, they may pursue careers in HR, they may pursue careers in nonprofit sectors and government sectors. So there's a lot of flexibility here. And usually when an employer is looking at resumes and they see this type of degree, it's a kind of a booming degree right now. And they can see that you've got two different applications here, not only a business application, but, the ability to work with people, which is going to be applied to any kind of, career field that you're going to go into. These programs are also pretty awesome because they are STEM. So STEM designation for programs is pretty great for an international student because you'll get an opportunity to work during your optional practical training period after your program ends. And this extends it from the usual 12 months to up to 36 months. So, you go from a year of work experience in the US after your program ends to a potential 3 years. So, and this is offered at both the master's and the doctoral level for these programs. So I just love kind of highlighting this if you're a student who's interested in business, but also psychology as well. You're kind of getting that blend as well as that STEM opportunity as well. A little bit more kind of on this is giving you a snapshot of what like a psychology is looking like as a field. These are just information pulled from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, US website. And this can be, this is a more general snapshot, but you can also look at those degrees specifically, like the MAIO, the PhD business psychology, on what those outlooks look like. But psychology is a rising field. It's a 6% fast growing field. So, there's a lot of opportunity here for students who are interested in this type of field. So kind of touching a little bit more on work opportunities, because I mentioned OPT with those programs. Like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we do have that scholar practitioner model where your faculty are not only academic lecturers, but they're also, taking clients working in the field. So you're getting that professional network. A lot of our students who do end up pursuing internship opportunities, which are embedded in a lot of our programs, which is CPT, curricular practical training. These, can be facilitated with our faculty as well. They have lots of connections because they are working in the field. So this can help you get that hands-on experience depending on the location that you are interested in. And then that OPT, most of our programs offer that 1 year, and then we've got our business psychology programs that offer 3 years. So you're getting that hands-on work experience in the US as well, which is so important to make you a competitive candidate when you're, ready to apply for jobs after graduation. We do have lots of student services. As an international student, we want to be able to support you best. Not only are we supporting you on our global engagement team, but when you're on ground on campus, we have a staff that supports you as well. And this can range from, making sure that you have a laptop and a textbook so that you're able to get your coursework done. Like I said, we have small class sizes, so you're able to connect with faculty and peers pretty easily, a close-knit community. That's kind of what the Chicago School is all about, is so that you're able to, not just get that experience in the classroom, but to go out into the community, into the locations that you've chosen, and really get that hands-on experience working with people, because that's what psychology is all about. And then the additional support that we as our global engagement office offer is, help if you, have any questions about your visa. We do offer visa mock interviews. So if you're a student who has been accepted into our program and you're feeling a little anxious about that process, then you can always reach out to our team, and then we can, kind of run through, some questions that can get you thinking on what they might ask. And just get you feeling a little bit less anxious, a little bit more prepared for that type of interview that we do. We can offer that support to you. We can help you through the CPT and OPT process once that's something applicable to you during your program. And any, questions or services that we can help with your immigration status, having your I-20 here, and many more. We're definitely available to you through Zoom, Teams, WhatsApp, so that you can get your questions answered and you can feel a little bit more at ease through the process. So just to touch on a little bit more about study abroad, like I had mentioned with our forensic psychology and international psychology program, is it's pretty rare that you hear about a student, international students specifically, talking a little bit more about study abroad, because study abroad usually means that you're coming to the US to study abroad, right? But in these programs, there's fieldwork experiences or study abroad experiences where you can get even more global experience than just studying in the US. The statistic right now is that about less than 6% of students get any kind of abroad experience. And when you have that on your resume, when you go and apply for jobs at the end of your program, it really makes you a really competitive candidate. You really stand out to employers because you're getting that global diversity. And now you're getting it embedded into like a psychology program as well. So you're working with, many different types of populations. So our forensic psychology program, a highlight about that is that usually they do travel to South Africa and they do work in the prison system there, serving those communities. So usually that's about a week of a fieldwork experience in that program. And then international psychology, they do change the location depending on the year, but they have gone to Ghana, they've gone to Germany, and they've served in populations there and communities there for about a week as well. So as an international student, you can get that experience in the US, and then you could potentially get that experience in another country as well to make you even more globally diverse than you already are. So just to touch briefly on our application process, we try to make the application as smooth and as simple as possible. We know that as an international student, you might be applying for 10, 15 different universities. So we definitely don't want to make this any harder on you. You would just go ahead and, submit an application. You can meet with me first if you have any questions, of course, but if you're, ready to submit the application, you can apply online. It's very easy. You can upload any documentation that we need right into the portal. And the documentation that you might need does depend on the program. But generally, we would need a transcript evaluation of your degree if you've completed a bachelor's degree already and you're pursuing a graduate program. And then also any like English proficiency documents, letters of recommendation, personal statement, and a resume is usually generally what they're going to need for those programs. But if you're interested in a specific program, I can also get into more detail with you one-on-one, and we can really make sure that you fully understand the process so it's really easy for you. Additionally, your file will get reviewed. You might have an interview with one of our faculty in that program, and then you would get an acceptance or decision on that program. So we really just like to make the process as quick as possible. Usually we have a pretty quick turnaround time. And then that makes it, easier on you and you kind of know the decision going forward. So this is a little bit more about the process. Like I said, we do need these items as well. We do also work with IEE, which is a transcript evaluation process, and we do have a special discount code, making that a little bit cheaper for students to obtain. So, if that's something that you haven't done yet and you would like to have a discounted rate through the Chicago school, then that's something that I can provide as well. And this is a little bit more information on our English proficiency and what we accept. So, we do accept Duolingo if you haven't taken English proficiency before, which I know is super affordable and fast and easy for students because you can take it from home. But we also do accept a lot of different tests as well, just, to make it easier on you, what you probably have already completed, or if you haven't, you can go the Duolingo route. So this does not apply. So for I-20 documents, usually once you've been accepted into the program, you submitted all your documents, you received a decision. The only other information that we need for you is just that proof of funding for 1 year, and then a copy of your passport, and we can go from there and go ahead and issue that immigration document so that you can go ahead and schedule your visa appointment. And then this is a little bit more about what the I-20 would kind of lay out for you. So tuition does depend on program, but generally this is kind of what you're looking at for fees, books, living expenses and then the total for the I-20. Just to let you know, the Chicago School, at all of our locations, we don't offer on-campus housing. And what's great about this is that students have the flexibility to kind of choose what kind of housing situation would be best for them and how to make it a little bit more affordable. So, in lots of locations like California, Washington, D.C., these locations can be a little bit more expensive. So we've allocated this cost of living here as an estimate, but that's not necessarily what you would end up paying. You could get a roommate, you could live a little bit outside of the city, and this can drastically decrease the amount of accommodation expenses that you're paying. And so that's why we really like to offer that option for students. By not having on-campus housing is really giving you that flexibility to determine, what your budget is like and what the best fit for you is. So we do have scholarships as well to, assist with that funding. I know kind of mentioned a lot of different ways that you can make the process a little bit more affordable, but as an international student, just in general in the US, you're going to be offered some type of funding. All international students receive some type of funding, but it's going to depend on the university that you do choose. So here at the Chicago School, we do offer scholarships that range anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. Usually with that process, it may require like a personal statement, just knowing what your career goals are, a little bit more about you, and that's what would be submitted to apply for those scholarships. But if a student doesn't receive any scholarships, we do offer a tuition rate as well, for a special rate for international students, which decreases the tuition and cost by 10%. So, there is some type of funding that you will receive through the Chicago School, whether it's through scholarships or through our international rate. So you will receive some type of funding. And additionally, there's opportunities, you might want to work on campus, which campus work is usually 20 hours a week while school is in session, and then up to 40 hours a week when school is not in session. So during, like winter breaks or summer breaks. And also as a graduate student, you would be eligible to pursue paid internships during those CPT opportunities. So that could be another way that you could, kind of get some funding on the side as well. So this is a great way to contact me. I can be reached at, our general email box, which is internationaladmissions@thechicagoschool.edu, or I'm super active on WhatsApp. So I encourage students, go ahead and text me. We can set up an appointment, or we can just text, we can email, whatever's convenient for you. I'm always available. So, we definitely here at our global engagement office, we can definitely be reached as soon as you are ready to connect with us. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and then we can open the floor for questions.
Thank you, Casey, for this. It was very helpful. I'm sure a lot of our students learned a lot from this. So we have the first question, which says, the question is that as a neurophysiology technologically major with degree title of Bachelor's of Studies in Medical Technology with no course of psychology in it, I want to do a master's in psychology. What are the challenges and solutions, if you could give any, to this specific student?
Yeah, this is a great question. To give you a little information, in the US, a lot of our programs are decentralized, which means that students can pursue different fields and still be eligible to pursue fields like psychology. So, the way into that type of program, since you come from a different background, you may be required to take a couple of these may include like a general psychology course or like a statistics course, but a lot of our students, what they end up doing is they take those courses in their first semester at the Chicago School, and then they continue on with their degree program. So there should not be any significant barriers since you come with a different field. You just might need to take a prerequisite or two in order to get you up to speed to psychology.
Thank you, Casey. Next question is from another student, Hafsa. She's asking if that she's completed 2 years in Pakistan in a university, and she wants to apply for the rest of her, like she wants to transfer into Chicago School. Is that an option for her?
It could be. It definitely depends on, what program that you're currently pursuing. Like if you're pursuing a undergraduate degree, it's definitely possible that you can transfer to finish your bachelor's degree here. If you're pursuing a master's degree, we do usually accept up to anywhere from 3 to 4 classes of a program, depending on what your graduate degree was, and then you could transfer in and finish. It's going to kind of just depend on what you're currently studying, but it's definitely possible. And we could, definitely talk more one-on-one about what courses you're already taking, what degree you're pursuing, and how that might look at the Chicago school.
Casey, you mentioned earlier that for your BA in psychology, the first 2 years online and the remaining 2 years are at a location in the US. Can you please talk a little bit about if OPT looks different for those students who do 2 years online or 2 years in person, or is that the same?
Yeah, so students like the BA psychology program, it is only 2 years online and then 2 years in person. So OPT does look the same for all students. You would get 12 months after that program is complete, and that would be right after you've completed the last 2 years in person that you'd be able to pursue that OPT.
All right. And we have another question. A student is asking if your school offers support such as tutoring.
Yeah, we do. Those were going to be part of our student services at the Chicago school. We do offer, tutoring help. Should you have any questions, maybe about like any writing, they do have a writing center as well. And then also students, it could be student led, or you can meet with faculty one-on-one as well if you have any specific questions in your classes. So there's definitely options for you and support for you. Should you need that extra, one-on-one attention.
We have another question. Thank you so much, Casey, for that. The student is asking that he graduated in English literature and language and now wants to pursue a master's. Um, is there anything like scholarship? You mentioned scholarships, but is there any financial aid component to your grad degree, to your postgrad, to your graduate degrees that you guys offer? Any financial aid options?
So our graduate programs aren't fully funded. We do offer those scholarships to students. What's great is that the scholarships are a little bit more general, and so you are going to be able to apply to multiple of them to see which ones that you might be eligible for, instead of them being like for specific fields, like if you've only pursued this type of degree. So, I would just always suggest students to go ahead and submit an application for all scholarships that are available to see what you might be eligible for. And I will let students know that the earlier that you do apply, the more funding options are available. So, there's going to be more scholarships that are eligible for students to get that, or the earlier you apply for them.
Can you talk a little bit about your application deadlines?
Yeah. So for this upcoming fall semester, fall start is August 26th. We do have a application deadline of June 15th. So that's going to be coming up here in a little bit of about a month. And then if you're interested in starting in the spring semester of 2025, we do have an application deadline of November 15th.
Thank you. We have another question. Is GRE required for any of your programs?
That's a great question. So we do have GRE required for one of our programs, and that's the PsyD Clinical Psychology program, but that's only at the Chicago campus. All of our other programs at all other locations. Sorry about that. I think I froze a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I could hear you. Could you repeat that, please?
I can. Let's see. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we have one program that requires the GRE. It's our PsyD Clinical Psychology program at the Chicago campus only, but all other programs at all other locations are a GRE not required.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question is, what is the least or the most amount of credit hours that I'm allowed to take in a semester?
Yeah, so usually as a graduate student, students pursue about 3 classes per semester. You may be eligible. meet with your advisor and faculty in the program just to determine like, what's the best course load for your lifestyle and everything like that. But I'd say most students complete either 3 or 4 classes per semester.
Thank you, Casey. So we have another question. Can you explain what makes the psychology programs at your university unique?
Yeah. So I would say that the most unique part of our programs is just the fact that our faculty are currently working in the field and they really have like a hands-on connection with our communities. So you're really getting that like up-to-date hands-on experience, and you're getting to take and apply what you're learning in your classes actively when you're meeting with potential clients, while you're doing your internship. So when you're ready to graduate and you're pursuing employment opportunities after your program, you are really it's not your first time applying these theories, these methods. You've been doing it throughout the entire duration of your program, so you feel really prepared after you graduate, and you've got those networking connections with faculty too. So you're really being able to connect with the communities and connect with those opportunities because of faculty.
Thank you, Casey. Another question is if you have a career support center support services available at your campus at Chicago School.
Yeah, so I would say that the best career support, like, we do have that service at the Chicago School, but it would also be through your faculty as well. Like I said, they've really got like tons of network opportunities. So connecting with them and asking what opportunities they would suggest for you is also an avenue as well, in addition to the career support services we offer.
Okay, thank you. Let me see for questions. Okay, I think we don't have any on Zoom right now. Let me see if I have. Yes. Do you have early action or early decision deadlines for your undergraduate program?
We usually go ahead and like when a student starts submitting the application, submitting all the documents, we give them the decision as soon as possible. Like I said, we have a pretty fast turnaround time, so we don't usually wait until application deadline is closed. If you submit it early, we're reviewing your application, and we're reviewing all applications as they come in. So you'll get a decision as soon as possible.
All right, I think we will wait a couple of minutes for students. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box.
Yes. And I just want to say thank you so much again for inviting me for this session. Our students have asked amazing questions. And, again, to reiterate, being able to connect with your Education USA advisors in Lahore, being able to connect with and attend these sessions with university representatives is a really great way to get all the information you need.
I will type our Lahore email address in the chat box in case anybody wants to um, reach out to us after the session. Please feel free to do that. It is in the chat box. I will once again repeat that we can register with us on educationusa.pk. You will see a tab which says how can we help, and if you click that, there will be a drop down box and you can click register for our free one-on-one advising service. We will wait just a couple more minutes before we let Casey go. She's here. Take advantage of that time and you can type them here. If you don't have any questions, that's totally fine as well. You can reach out to us later at the email in the chat box.
And one thing I did want to mention, I hate that I didn't mention this earlier, but as a student who's attended this session, I do want to offer all students coming through the session and coming through the Advising Center in Lahore a free application waiver. So usually our application fee is about $50, but if you just connect with advisors here and let them know you came through the session, or connect with my email as well, then we can go ahead and waive that application fee for you.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you for doing that for our students. With that, I think we don't have any more questions. Thank you so much, Casey, for showing up and for being so I'm sure the students learned a lot, and we're so grateful that you could take our time and join the session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you those for tuning in. Thank you, and stay tuned for our more sessions like these. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.